Episode 237.
When it comes to advertising, it's best to think of yourself as an uninvited guest in the living room of a prospect who has the magical power to make you disappear instantly. Now, our job is to make sure that, you ask us to stay a while, permission to stay. You can't just do that by throwing any old thing out there. You have to give them a reason to want you.
Welcome, aftermarketers, to Remarkable Results Radio. Listen to learn just one thing from today's episode on your journey to remarkable results. Hello, aftermarketers throughout North America and around the world. Carm Capriato here, and thanks for listening to the premier aftermarket podcast, Remarkable Results Radio. Hey, welcome to episode 237 with Rhonda Hiltbrand, CEO of Newsworks Marketing Group. Find the show notes page at remarkableresults.biz/E237. Hey, the episode is made possible through the sponsorship of Federal Mogul Motor Parts, and thanks for supporting their brands. You can search for parts, get the latest technical updates, and sign up for the new Garage Rewards loyalty program at their all-new website, fmmotorparts.com. It would be a great honor if you would subscribe to the podcast on any one of the subscription services of the Remarkable Results Radio podcast. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, formerly iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, Spreaker, TuneIn.com, Podbean, and Player.fm. And don't forget about my own app for iOS and Android. We are everywhere. I want to thank you for connecting with me on my social sites. Here's a shout out to my newest Facebook friends, Eric Muir, Samantha Freeman, and Chris Jongsma, and to my new LinkedIn connections, John Bachman, Kurt Ward, and Bill Berkins. Hey, don't hesitate to come on board to my LinkedIn or Facebook pages, and I'm also on Twitter and Instagram. Find instant access to my social accounts at remarkableresults.biz/social. Hey, one more thing. Become an email insider and subscribe to be in the know on every episode. Just text the word remarkable to 33444. Follow the prompts, and you're in. Now meet Rhonda Hiltbrand, the CEO of Newsworks Marketing Group and the author of the Help Me Rhonda columns to shop owners, counterstaff, and web developers. Rhonda is not only an automotive shop marketing professional, she loves direct mail. We had a very open and wide-ranging interview about the value that direct mail brings to shop owners. We talked about marketing ROI, a blended strategy between direct mail and e-social, how to make a newsletter work, and how to attract millennials to read a newsletter. Also, how to stand out among the 6,000 advertising impressions we see every day. Plus, as you've come to expect, so much more in every interview. Listen in and connect with our industry's influencers. Now, here we go with Rhonda Hiltbrand. A warm welcome to Rhonda Hiltbrand, CEO of Newsworks Marketing Group. Welcome, Rhonda.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Newsworks Marketing, an award-winning marketing company. Started in the 80s. You bought it. And what's so curious about it, and why I asked you to come on, is you're a newsletter marketing company. And I find it fascinating in the world of e-everything. You're talking about newsletters that actually go out through mail, the normal U.S. Postal Service.
Yes. And, that started, as we know, years ago. I actually have a picture of a postcard that went out in the early 1900s reminding people to get their car serviced. And I love that picture.
So there were smart marketers way back then.
Way back then, before they called it marketing, And I love that. And today, what do? We pay our bills online. We do everything online. So the mailbox is even more fun for people these days. They check their mail every day. They interact with their mail. It's like, wow, like just this week alone, I received from a dealership in our area a scratch-off postcard, urging me to come in and look, you can win this much off a car, blah, blah, blah. I got something from a Pep Boys, do this, come in, you'll get this. So people say direct mail's dead. I remember when Facebook started really catching on, people were saying, direct mail's dead. There was a company that I saw often at trade shows. I go speak at a lot of conventions for the automotive industry. And there was this one company there that they had always done newspaper inserts for the aftermarket. Come buy your parts here and there. Well, suddenly they decided they were social media experts. They got up and said, oh, all this other stuff's dead. We're social media experts. You need to come to us for that. Well, in 8 months, they changed their story because it was hard to prove return on investment.
Isn't it blended today, though?
It's blended. Don't ever say, hey, don't put your marketing in one basket. That's what we tell, because we're a full service marketing. We just don't do direct mail, but mostly we do direct mail. That's our claim to fame. But so people need to embrace. I tell them, don't stop Facebook. They go, Rhonda, I'm not getting anything off of it. I said, yes, you are, because it's slapping your name up there. People are going to see it, even if they're scrolling by. They're going to see you. That's important. Top of mind awareness. So don't throw out Facebook because you're not seeing return on investment necessarily. You might not get a stack of coupons like you're getting back from a direct mail piece, but your name's there. You're out there.
Okay. You said the word blended strategy before, and so I'm curious, is there something in the industry or something at your firm that you go to clients with and say, this is we've got to do so much social and so much direct mail? Is there a percent?
Well, it's really not a percentage. I just say to people who try not to, they don't want to work at it. And a lot of, shop owners are busy. They're busy working on cars. I'm sitting here all day with my smart briefs. I read every little bit. Mobile does this for you. Facebook does this. Snapchat does this. Blah blah blah. That's my life. That's my world. It's not necessarily the world of the automotive repair shop owner. Their world's under that hood, or whatever. They're very busy with cars. So it's my job to tell them, hey, this is what you could do. This will help you. Now, they don't necessarily follow my advice word for word. We do consulting, but I know there's consulting firms that they pay big money to that they don't listen to all the time. They're busy. They got other things going on. So to them, they would be happier, I think, if everything just automatically happened for them. They don't have to think about it. And we try to take that away from them as much as possible. What we do with the direct mail pieces, for example, it's multi-use. Yes, it's great. We put it together for them. They don't have to think about it. Some of them want to write their own, but the majority say, do it for me. So we do.
Do all age groups appreciate newsletters? For example, I can't imagine that a millennial would want to read a newsletter.
That's why you have to make them interactive. You have to make them fun. Now, when I first started in newsletters, believe it or not, years ago, it was for a church. And they said, look at this. Like, I don't have a marketing degree. My background is more in the engineering field. My world for a long time was Pamper machines for Procter & Gamble, GE, the gauges for GE, General Electric Rocket Engine Group. I did cylinders, Parker Hannifin, the hydraulic and pneumatic. That was my world. My mother told me, my teachers always told me at school, Rhonda, go right into writing. You're so creative. Do that. Don't do anything else. My mother said to me, Rhonda, you need something that's going to pay. You can't do that, So I followed mom's advice. When my child was born, it was like, and then people started coming to me asking me to do this stuff. So I got to get back into my dream world, so to speak, when I wanted to work part-time.
You're really doing what you love to do.
Yes, what I love to do. This is my passion. And, you do what mom says, and do it the right way. But I still get to do this now. So when my son was young, of course now he's grown with children of his own, but we did, a church came to me and says, hey, can you do this newsletter for me? And I looked at that thing and I thought, boy, this is dull as ditch water. Who would want to read this? So, I started really prettying it up, making it interactive, using clip art. Now, clip art back then is not like clip art today, where you go to a site and you can put it. I had to actually paste and tape stuff on. Yes, that way.
Yeah, you had to cut it out. Yeah.
Yes, had to cut it out. And people really enjoyed it. So then the word got out, and other churches says, hey, can you do that for us? So that's how I got started into newsletters. Then I was asked by Newsworks in WZWORX in 1998 to come on board there to do automotive newsletters. So I thought, boy, Cars, I don't really know anything about that. Well, being a research person, because I love writing, I researched and researched and researched, and people can actually, it's funny now because people will call me and say, Rhonda, my car's doing this. What do you think it is? I couldn't point it out under the hood. I could not tell them, but I can say, well, it sounds like this, or this, because I write about it all day long. I write not only newsletters, I write articles for people to put on their website. They put it in, people still put it in newspapers today. So that's what we do. And it's just something I love.
I'm talking to Bud Houston, a technical product specialist with Federal Mogul Motor Parts. Hey, Bud, what's the best thing about the Guru on the Go van?
Yeah, I think that the best thing about the van and the kind of the mission is it's twofold. One is ultimately to bring brand awareness of the Federal Mogul portfolio. But I think the way that we do that is we bring value to the technician, the shop owner. And how we do that is we bring technical content, we bring some updated material. And once they see that I care about their operation, their reputation, and their qualifications, one, they're built up, but two, they really, at that point, listen to what I have to say about the brands. And it's built, the relationship is built on a mutual benefit.
So you bring technical stuff and you bring product specific.
Yeah, me personally, I'm super technical background. So anytime I'm doing a lunch and learn or a van visit, training session, it's typically 90% technical, 10% product.
Any new Moog products that are getting good reviews?
Yeah, one that's recently released is the Dodge Ram 25 and 3500 complete steering assembly. It's inner and outer tie rod ends and drag link pre-assembled. This is the first aftermarket part that's available in a complete assembly for this application. And the specific applications, late model Dodge Rams, are actually a kind of a high failure part on the chassis parts.
What about the compression loaded ball joints with pre-installed integral dust boot?
Yeah, the integral dust boot has been a huge hit. Initially, the idea was, well, where is the boot? And then once you kind of get around and show people, they're like, well, that is the best idea I've ever seen, because I've torn so many boots on installation, or I've had a boot that's not seated properly. And they're like, well, that's just not an issue now. And they love it.
Federal Mogul Motor Parts' Garage Gurus is your go-to source for the vehicle training, technology, and answers you need to keep your next job on track. On-site, online, or on demand, the Gurus are here to help keep your business and your career on the road to success. Visit fmgarageguru.com. So millennials are not going to read newsletters, but every age group trusts direct mail. Now, I read about that.
They love direct mail, and millennials will if you make it fun. Now, how do we make it fun? How do you attract a millennial to read a newsletter? Well, you have to make it fun. Now, what we do to make interaction is we put things on there that they're going to enjoy doing. You give them a reason to open it. Number one, you can do like word search puzzles. They love these little puzzle things. You think, well, millennials not going to like that. Yes, they do. They buy the books even to do it. They enjoy it. It's relaxing. They enjoy that. You put some fun offer. We have a customer, for instance, who always puts down, if your license plate has an L and a 2 in it, be one of the first 3 callers and you'll get a free oil change. Millennials are all over that.
Do you put stuff, you put articles on tech or careers at all?
We have what we call an interior choices. We write those. Those are written. They have several to choose from, shop owners. One of them is all about, are you looking for a career in the automotive industry?
Well, that's cool. I love that, because we need people to join our industry.
Absolutely. And it says, it lets them know that this could be a great career choice. There's a shortage. People would love to do this. So, in fact, I listened to one of your recordings about that yesterday.
Excellent.
And,
thank you.
Yes. And I love that. And I thought, yes, that's so true. There's a shortage. What can we do about it? So, that way we're getting the word out to people that this is a career option that they might not have thought of, because like the person said you interviewed, they don't necessarily, parents aren't looking to that. They're not thinking about that as a career opportunity, but it is.
So many shop owners have abandoned anything to do with print and everything they're doing is Facebook Live or Facebook or Pinterest.
And it's because those things are cheap. Those don't cost much. And one of the big pitfalls of that is when people send out a direct mail piece, they really look at it. They look at that proof, they examine it, they share it with others. What do you think? What do you think? When they do a Facebook thing, they're not thinking, or they hire some firm that's just going to pop it up. I know when I follow Facebook on several of my customers because they've asked me to, I'll see 10 right in a row, stack, saying the same thing. It's not personal.
Years ago, I saw clutter in my mailbox. Today, I don't necessarily see a lot of clutter, but what I do see is the clutter in social media.
Exactly, and it's so easy to scroll by it.
Yeah, that's your point. Your point is that everybody's got something, and I guess if I have liked the pages of 5 of the repair shops I've been to, I'm going to get bombarded. Now, there is a special way, I believe, to do social posts, and not everyone appreciates that, knows it, gets it, and some of them, you will stop and look and read, and maybe there's a call to action. But are you saying that go back to print, newsletters, postcards, do they have greater staying power than a social post?
Yes, because, for instance, we're all busy people. We don't have time to sit there and go, oh, well, I didn't see that now. I don't have time. I'll go back to it later. No, you're not ever going to go back to it. That's just how it is. A direct mail piece, you can check your mail. Oh my goodness, I don't have time right now, but I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to come back home and I'm going to look at it.
Wait a minute, you're telling me it goes to the lower part of the stack, actually. It just keeps going down and down and down, every piece of email and every piece of social post.
Absolutely. And if you're busy, I love my smart briefs because it keeps me on the cutting edge. It comes in my mailbox. It's 10 points, 10 articles. Do I have time to look at all that? No. I'll skim, pick what I want on Fridays. I have a staff, I take all my staff to lunch on Friday. We have our meeting. I sit there and Fridays when that's dinging in, beep, 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 delete. I don't have time. I'm never going to get that time back. I don't have time to say, I'll save that for later.
Wait a minute. That's the big secret. The secret is you create a folder and you draw that email over there because you subscribe to the newsletter. You want to read it. Now, my question is how often do we go back and actually open that folder with all that saved stuff?
My saved folders that I keep like that are usually something to do with my payroll service, something I need to know, or something, something from the government to do with taxes. That's what I'll put over there and go back to.
So your job is to really break through that time-challenged individual and get something in front of them so they can see, hey, it's Carm's Service Center. Here, pay attention to me. We got some fun stuff, great stuff. We have offers. We have opportunities. Here they are. Oh, by the way, don't throw this out. How does that don't throw that out message get out?
Well, one of the things that I like, I'm going to read you this quote, and I love it. When it comes to advertising, it's best to think of yourself as an uninvited guest in the living room of a prospect who has the magical power to make you disappear instantly. Now, our job is to make sure that, you ask us to stay a while.
Yeah, permission
to stay. You can't just do that by throwing any old thing out there. You have to give them a reason to want you to stay a little bit, to interact. Now, just to give you a little point of interest with this, how we know it works, not to mention the coupons, we always suggest you put some, call to action, an offer in there. So the guys tell me, yep, we did great on this newsletter. We got all this back. We have guys that actually track it. They will show us piece per piece. This is how much I made, blah, 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 blah. I invested, $1,000 and I made 12, something like that. They will tell us 12,000. They will tell us this. And I love that they do that. We actually have a person now who goes around and he's sharing this information with people. And I love that, and gets groups of 20 groups together, and shares this information. That helps me a lot, of course. But the really great thing is to get them to stay a while is when people, they'll call me up and they go, hey, Rhonda, someone made me a collage of all those postcards I've done with you over the years. They got my picture up. They framed it. It's hanging on my wall here because they love it. Another teenage daughter says, I can't even go to any of my friends' house without seeing my dad plastered on their refrigerator.
They're his picture from the newsletter or something, right?
From the newsletter or the postcard. One guy, he says his bank, he went to the bank and there was his newsletter taped to the door of the bank. And another guy said, hey, I went down to the local diner. They asked for my autograph and my picture's hanging up on the bulletin board in the local diner. That's how people are interacting with these pieces. Now, is it because they're just looking like they normally do? No, we've made them funny. We've taken their face. And it's so easy today. We had to wait till their pictures came in the mail to our company. Now it's just like click, 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 here they go. They text it to us. They email it to us. We take that picture and we turn them into, like right now, for instance, they're patriots, from the 1700s. They're Ben Franklins, they're George Washingtons. They're something interesting and fun, and the people get that and they love it. One of our good fun ones was we had them looking like they were bodybuilders. I can pump you up about tire.
And does this work? This really works?
Oh, yes, it works great, and they love it. And if they skip, they will call me up because they're, oh, I'm so busy, especially in the summer months. These guys are very busy and they think, I don't even have time. Then they'll call me up, Rhonda, my customers are upset because I skipped. Can you get me something out really fast? So they look for it. They enjoy it.
What's working? Is it the newsletter or the postcards today?
Both. The newsletter makes you more human. You get to show your humanity. People feel that they now know that shop owner and they care about me and they're putting in information. It's like from a person to person. And that's working better. Now, postcards are great for a quick hit, and still we can do the funny stuff. People like it. It's quick. It's easy. But that's the coupon thing coming through and the chuckle. But the newsletter gives you room to interact.
So if I don't have time to open an email, how am I finding the time to read a 4-page newsletter or more?
Well, and again, the secret there is you can have it and you can lay it aside and get back to it when you can.
Once I skim it and I say, oh, that's cool. What do? Throw it in our mail stack? Do we throw it near our next to our favorite chair? Do we read it in the morning? What are the habits of people that want to follow up on a newsletter?
Well, a lot of them will say that they're going to pick their child up from a sporting event or something. They'll take it with them. They'll sit there and do the word search puzzle. They'll do whatever.
Come on, they're on their phones. They're not reading a newsletter.
No, they enjoy this. This is their little break in the action. They're going to have a good time just sitting there doing that, and they like it. Also, I include, and at first the shop owner said, now, Rhonda, I just don't understand this. I said, I include a recipe in each newsletter, a recipe. Well, when people started making the recipe, the baked goods, and bringing it in to the shops, they go, okay, it works. We take it back, keep it coming.
You had just mentioned a moment ago, and I was going to ask you about consistency. Basically, you're saying you got to be, whatever you're doing, it needs to be at a regular base time. Absolutely.
And that's one of the things, too, that I notice with my customers on Facebook. I have a handful. They're very consistent. I can see it. And it's stuff a lot of times that I have given them, and they will post it on Facebook. But I find it interesting that some are, you'll see once or twice a year, they'll pop on there suddenly out of the blue. And I think, well, why don't you do this all the time? At least once a week, put something on Facebook, at least do that,
Rhonda, I'm curious, postcards today are actually, I'm feeling that they're individualized exactly to me. My vehicle is listed on it. Is postcarding becoming conditional based on the databases that people have?
Well, they can be. I mean, we don't actually put that's more of a reminder card program, and we don't put that on there. We do the other we'll actually, if they want that, we'll recommend a company to do that for them. I have no problem.
So if you were going to send out a postcard you wouldn't say I owned a Buick. And it says, we work on your kind of Buick. It wouldn't say that. It's still, you're doing generic stuff. You're not doing targeted.
Yes, we're not doing that. We will say, we have this special offer. Like one customer in particular in July, he really likes to give a $25 gift coupon to people. It's a gift in July. And he'll say, we make him like we made in George Washington this time. He's got the $25, declare your vehicle's independence from summer's heat. Make sure your car's serviced today. We have the expertise to take care of this. It's a quick hit. It's there. People interact with it. They love it. They even will take this every year. They take this postcard because he does a 4th of July one every single year. They put it on the back of a pickup truck. Someone does, one of his customers, when they get it, and they drive around town with that on the back of the car. And that's in Phoenix, and they're driving around town with this postcard. And it makes people say, what is that? Let me see that. And that's fun. That's exciting. And is it informative? No, it's not necessarily as informative as a newsletter. And a newsletter is very informative, but it's still fun. It's a quick hit.
I can't help but think that there must still be a romance to getting mail. You mentioned it earlier. People love to get mail.
Yes, all the way from traditionalist to Generation Z.
And they look forward somehow. Did I get any mail? Did you go to the mailbox? You're trying to capitalize on all the noise that's going on with our electronic world, and you're trying to bring it down to some based reality, something you could touch and read. It's almost like you're saying, when the email gets down the stack in your email stream, it becomes irrelevant. I think what you're really trying to say, the romance of reading and mail is still alive, and you're attempting to capitalize on that.
Absolutely. And we get no less than 6,000 advertising messages bombarding us each and every day. And I say that all the time when I'm giving talks, and people say, really? And I said, think about it. Advertising is everywhere. You can't walk out of your house. You can't be in your house without seeing advertising. It's there.
I can't imagine 1/2 hour of TV. The number of commercials from just a few years ago, it almost seems like it's up 30 or 40%. It's unbelievable.
Look at this. When you watched a show that used to take an hour, it's a rerun now on cable, and now it takes an hour and 20 minutes. Why is that? Because they've added more commercials.
Yeah, and so you're right. The impressions, we're being bombarded.
Yeah, people are so good at not looking at it. And recently, now there's third-party agencies now coming out, and they actually smacked Google and Facebook for grading their own homework. They called it marking their own homework. They said it's time they stop marking their own homework, because they keep saying, we're great, our stuff works, our stuff's wonderful, advertise here. And then people are saying, well, why aren't I seeing a return? Why isn't my shop getting more people? Because I'm paying the money, I'm advertising through that. Why? Well, because it's not really working. When you go on, I'm an expert at Xing out. When I'm researching something and I want to get to my what I'm researching, I'm an expert at Xing out all the stuff on the side that's trying to interfere, that pops up trying to get my attention. I don't even see it. It's gone.
Oh, you just brought up a great thought, ad blockers.
Yes, that's a huge thing. And what the sad thing about ad blocking is people have paid to have that ad shown, yet people are blocking it.
Are you telling me that if the ad gets blocked, you're still paying because it's sitting there somewhere, but consumer can't see it?
Yes, because the customer blocked it.
I had thought direct mail was gone with the phone book. Gone, done, history.
It's still very much alive and doing well. And as we said, because the mailbox is emptier, because people think that why? Because people aren't getting bills in the mailbox anymore because they're preferring them online. That way they don't have to shred them, you don't have to shred your information, because these days we have to be so safe. And that's another thing that's a good thing about direct mail is the cybersecurity issue.
Yeah, we're probably afraid to open some emails. Yes,
absolutely. And sometimes, when it comes to buying, I've tried it. I've tried to buy email addresses. You never get to see them. So, it took me a long time to think now, it's odd that I'm not getting anything back. I'm sending out this da-da-da-da. Well, of course, a lot of it goes into spam. A lot of it, is blocked, as you said, but people are afraid to open it. But a lot of times that list, it's easier. I would have to say it's easier business to consumer. Business to business is hard.
Thank you. I'm a shop owner. I'm going to ask you some interesting questions here. We're going to do a direct mail newsletter to my customer base. I have their addresses. We're not buying a list. So these people have been to my place. I have a relationship, some really great relationships, and some we're just starting out, and some customers haven't been here in a while. And this is a way to rekindle and connect. Would you recommend to me postcard versus newsletter? Newsletter over post?
It would depend on what you're trying to accomplish. And this is something we would talk to you about. One of my customers recently said he always does postcards. He does 6 postcards a year. But this time he wanted to do a newsletter because he had a special message he wanted to get out, and he needed the room to say it. He's getting all these people that say, well, hey, I don't have to change my oil except once a year. And now he's saying, hey, let me tell you what I'm experiencing from vehicles that are only coming in once a year to get their oil changed. This was his venue to get that message out. And, it was very important to him to do that. And so it's great for that. Some of our interior choices are telling people now too that, your car's a computer on wheels. We have something information about that. I already told you about, hiring, this is a good career opportunity.
Yeah, I love that piece. You're right. You're bringing it to light. And I'm so glad you came on the podcast, because I have, in my mind, written off any kind of direct mail in favor of the dynamics of E. And you're really helping me understand that there's a completely different approach. Wow. And I can see the value.
Well, and also, if you want to do an inexpensive, reach out to your community.
It's almost like the owner being able to share his feelings on community, his feelings on maintenance, his feeling on the industry, and on and on and on, and celebrations internally. Hey, we're really a family business. We're the place where people come. We're the pickle barrel of the community. Yeah. You come here,
and we're human beings. We're not just a business. We're human beings. We care. That's the message.
I love the medium and I love the ideas, but the thing that continues to rock me is, are there enough that are going to read it? And what you're saying is, put in the recipe, watch the cookies come in. Put in the coupon, watch the coupon come in. Put in the word puzzle, take it out the next month, find out how many people wanted the word puzzle by them saying, hey, you did this, you didn't do that. So there can be some A/B testing, if you will, inside of a newsletter. Where do you get your best ideas, Rhonda?
I just have my own personal experiences. Sometimes my regular shop owners know I write a Help Me Rhonda e-tip for them every month. Yes. So I do that. And sometimes I share my personal experiences. Like I've gone and I've experienced, don't do this, do this instead, because there's nothing like a personal experience to really make you think, hey, there's a right way and a wrong way to treat people or to do things, and so that's how I get a lot of my inspiration is from personal life, just life.
If you could have one gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say?
Treat others as you would like to be treated. I think that's missing a lot in today's business world and in life in general. And people don't stop and think about that. They don't. And I think that's one of the things I also think about this newsletter is it gives people a chance to say that I care. We care to the customer.
Hey, thanks for bringing your passion to the podcast. Wow. I learned a lot. I believe our listeners are going to have a newfound appreciation for what direct mail can do for them. You opened my eyes to a bunch of great stuff. So Rhonda Hiltbrand, CEO of Newsworks Marketing Group, thank you so much for all the great advice and your energy.
Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Hey, Aftermarketers, thank you for joining Rhonda Hiltbrand and myself in this frank discussion on marketing with a focus on direct mail. There was a lot there to digest, so hey, listen again and again. The show notes for this episode with Rhonda Hiltbrand is at remarkableresults.biz/E237. Hey, don't forget to get the Remarkable Results Radio app. It's available free for Apple and Android devices. Search on your app store for Remarkable Results Radio and download. Then you'll have every episode at your fingertips for easy listening. Hey, send me an email, and I get email all the time. Your feedback and comments on this interview or all previous interviews is so appreciated. Keep in touch. Email me at carm@remarkableresults.biz. Hey, thanks for your support and listenership. And until next time.
Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from the premier automotive aftermarket podcast. Until next time,